invested. It's all of our kids.
Who's doing the reteach piece? Is it the teacher that had the most success with their lesson?
That's yeah.
What I thought.
So does it change then? Some students during reteach
Right.
from week to?
It's a teacher that had really good success. They did something that was working.
How does your special ed work in all this?
We need to grab one of our special ed teachers so that she can kind of explain. But our philosophy, we're inclusion in our district, and so our students are included in the classroom as much as possible. Even our students with multiple severe handicaps, they're in the classroom. So they go through Reteach and Enrich. They take the formatives. They're going to receive some resource services. It may be a 30 minutes a day pull out. It may be where the teacher is in with the classroom teacher and they're co-teaching. It kind of depends on the student. But their services are limited to really what's happening in the classroom.
So they would get their modifications on their formative assessments and the weekly ones?
They take the normal formative. We don't really modify it because they're held accountable to that same level on AIMS.
But you have accommodations.
They can read the questions. And,
just not modifications,
right.
just
Right.
accommodations.
Okay.
So those wouldn't be kids that would be on alternative assessments then?
No. And they may, like their IEP, they may be significantly below grade level, and so during her pull-out time, she'll pull them and then she's working on the IEP goals. But they're going to be in the regular ed classroom getting the regular ed instruction and taking the regular ed assessment. Unless they're a student who is severe multiple handicap, then our students that are in those categories will have a parapro that's assigned to them. It's a one-on-one, and then the parapro will make adjustments and modifications to their work. They're not going to be taking formatives if they can't read, or if they're in a wheelchair and they have cerebral palsy or whatnot. But they're still in the classroom. They're still included.
Can I ask another question about the gifted stuff? Because I was just talking to these guys about it yesterday. Just Monday before I left, our principal, we have to make sure that we're servicing our gifted students. That we're not doing it very well. And I understand you're using that media center, and it's like 40, 30. How long is it a week? Like 40 minutes they get or something? 40 minutes a week. So she's saying that the state's requiring us to give these kids services for 220 minutes a week, and they want to pull them like out of our regular core areas like math and reading and stuff. So how are you guys?
Are you talking about identified gifted students that have taken the cognitive
Right.
abilities
Yes.
test? Right.
And they're so like in fourth
We
grade.
have a pull-out.
Okay, so when does that happen for? Like she wants to take them for 90 minutes on a Wednesday, 90 minutes on a Thursday, and then every other Friday another 60 minutes.
Yeah.
So they're going to be missing like regular reading class or regular math class 2 times a week, or sometimes 3 times a week. Those gifted students.
Well, this year the gifted kids are serviced in the afternoon so that they don't miss any part of the balanced literacy in the morning. And that's sort of a sacred time that we don't pull kids out. And we, because I'm doing school-wide enrichment this year, there's a gifted teacher that's working part-time, and she comes in the afternoon and she services every day on a pull-out. But we have advanced math here as well as another intervention, and we count that time, and then we also count the time that they're in the media center so that we get the amount of minutes that we feel each student deserves.
Advanced math, the way that works is we have a teacher on our campus that only teaches math. And we have students that we've identified, say they're second graders. If their achievement is such that second grade math is too easy, they go to the advanced math teacher for math, and they receive all of their math instruction in third grade curriculum, everything. The third grade curriculum, the third grade formative, the third grade benchmarks. And so we have a whole class of second graders that go to advanced math for math time, and they receive third grade math. And then a whole group of third graders that go to advanced math during math time, and they receive third instruction at fourth grade level. We have some kids that are super bright, and so they may be 2 grade levels above. We have one kiddo that's ready to be 3 grade levels above. And so we meet the needs of where they're at. So we'll show you our advanced math program as well. It's a full class of kids, and they're just identified as needing that extra. Regular math is too easy for them. Even with Reteach and Enrich, it's not enough.
And that's just something as a district, the commitment was made that, hey, we're going to provide this service.
That's just a Mesquite thing.
Also, I forgot to talk to you about lunchtime enrichment. We open the resource room for the gifted education room for students who want to come in and work during their lunchtime. So they'll eat lunch first, and they'll come out and they'll work on a special project. We just finished a huge project on the election. And we're looking at a population of kids this year that's a little different than what we've looked at in the past. We're looking at the kids who are the 25% of the kids who are actually meeting the standard on the Ames assessment. Do you want to talk about that,
Right,
Angie?
we're focusing on the kids, at each grade level that are in the bottom 25 according to our state test, which is the Ames. So we have kids who met on Ames, but they're still considered the bottom 25 at a grade level. So those kids, you know, they're meeting, they're where they need to be, but we want to give them just that little extra push. And so Janet's taking those kids during lunchtime enrichment and just kind of giving them something else so that they don't, because they are the lower meets, we don't want them to drop. You know, we want them to show that growth. So those are kids that we're targeting this year.
We also do Think Alouds in the Media Center. We model that discussion with kids, and we've started to target that group of students when they come into the Media Center, and we have a little snack. I think you guys have called it before, the movie that we draw them in that has to do with the unit. Right now we're working on the 13 colonies, and early American history is our theme throughout the year in there. But following that, we model Think Alouds and discussions and cooperative learning, and we're targeting that population of students. And it's just been really interesting to watch because the classroom teacher is very aware of who they are. I'm very aware. She's more aware than I am. But now we can target those kids. And when they first started coming in, you know, typically they were the ones who were sitting in the classroom just sitting.
They're your quiet
And
average
w-
kids. You know, they do
No,
what they
and-
need to do, and
And now when we call on them, in the beginning it was like, me? Me? Yeah. So we feel we're doing something right by really involving that population of students, and they are psyched about coming out for lunchtime enrichment. They don't think twice about giving up recess. They'd rather be in where they can learn something new and be with their peers, and it works out really well.
So is that by grade level too?
It
Because
is.
your recesses and
Yep.
lunches are all at different
Yeah,
times.
every
Is
day.
that every day?
Every day.
And you do that?
I do that.
That's pretty cool.
That's fine. And sometimes we'll do a unit on chess. We'll do, they love that, you know, to teach the chess, and we'll invite the ELP students, the ones who are already identified gifted, and 97% on the COGAT. But the really neat thing that happened too with the enrichment program in the Media Center, when we started doing lunchtime enrichment and we started inviting the kids out, our population of students that tested for ELP doubled. So they were working with gifted kids together. Then the next year that followed, we doubled the amount of kids that were in the program. So we're feeling like we're able to, you know, being able to, I look at Angie kind of as the heartbeat, and I keep my pulse on the heartbeat. I listen to the data, and I need to know, you know, where the kids are and how they're performing, so that when we get ready to identify those kids and have them test for the cognitive abilities test, we know we're on the right track. So I'm really excited about this 25% group, the hot group we call them, the hot
And
group.
see, the state looks at the bottom 25 and they're weighted differently than the rest of the student population. And for us, it was a real kind of challenge because our bottom 25 aren't kids that are falling far below. They're not kids that are approaching. They're kids that are meeting. And we do have some of those fall far below approaches, but we have very specific interventions for those kiddos. So what do you do for those ones that are your bottom 25 if they're meeting? They're average kids. So that's where we had to kind of get creative on how we can address their needs.
Before, a couple of years before, we were looking at the population of kids who had taken the cognitive abilities test and scored in the 90th percentile to the 97th percentile. And when we were focusing on them, that's when we were really feeling that we were able to identify and move on and keep enriching. And so this year, we're still looking at that population of students. They still get invited out to participate and do different kinds of things, but also now to include this other population is going to be interesting to see how it is at the end of the year.
do you guys use a math program school-wide, or do you just?
So we can talk a little bit about, I want to get you guys out in classrooms. There's a couple of things I want to talk about before we go, because it's pivotal as to what you'll see. One of the things is, what do we use as resources? Yeah. We have what's called Beyond Textbooks in our district, and basically, it's an online wiki. Every single objective, every single content area, every single grade level has a wiki page that is dedicated to that objective.